From the 1st of July 2019, ceiling and underfloor insulation will be compulsory in all rental homes where reasonably practicable. You might think the insulation in your rental property complies with the Residential Tenancies Act regulations, but it may not. Let's start with the ceiling. If you can do it safely, get a ladder and check your roof space to see if you have insulation. If you have no insulation at all, you will need to install new insulation that complies with the regulations. If your insulation is less than 70 millimeters thick, you will need to top up with new insulation that complies with the regulations. If you're unsure, talk to an insulation installer. If your insulation is thicker than 70 millimeters, you don't need to do anything provided the insulation is in reasonable condition. But if your insulation is below 120 millimeters, we recommend topping it up anyway. Reasonable condition means no missing areas, no gaps except around downlights and other heat sources, and no defects. If you have missing areas, gaps, or defects, you need to bring the insulation up to standard to comply with the regulations. Now the underfloor. If you have no insulation at all, you will need to install new insulation to comply with the new regulations. If you already have underfloor insulation, it also needs to be in reasonable condition. Again, this means no missing areas, no gaps, and no defects. Insulation that's damaged will need to be repaired or replaced with new underfloor insulation. If you have foil insulation, this is adequate as long as the top surface is still shiny and there are no rips, gaps, or damage. There is a risk of electrocution with foil. Turn the power off before touching it. We highly recommend hiring a professional to remove foil. Damaged foil must not be repaired, it must be replaced with another insulation product. There are some exceptions to these rules. These include houses without a roof or subfloor space and houses with inadequate height in the ceiling or subfloor space. Talk to an insulation installer to find out if an exception applies, or if you have any doubts or questions about your insulation. They understand the rules and regulations and can check and confirm your property complies. If you do need insulation, check if your rental property is eligible for a 50% subsidy. Find out more about tenancy law at tenancy.govt.nz.